Hi, good to see you, Jennifer MacIntyre.
It's great to be here, Rosemary.
Let's start with what an ambassador for climate change does. What are you going to do that Catherine McKenna, the environment minister, doesn't do?
Well, I'm not a politician, I'm a diplomat, and I'm the new ambassador for climate change for Canada. And really, it's going to be my role to pull together all the pieces of Canada's international engagement on climate change. So it's really exciting.
Does that mean you have to make it happen, or does that mean you have to get out in the world and sort of sell it as an idea?
So, I think what we're seeing is that climate change is absolutely an international priority for Canada. Our Prime Minister is making climate change a priority on the world stage. So, for me, what this means is that it's an opportunity for Canada to take a leadership role. And I'm going to be exceptionally focused on building those partnerships that can allow us to move forward to take really concrete steps on climate action.
Okay, how do you do that in a world where the United States has just pulled out of the Paris Agreement, and there are other people that now say, or other countries now that say, well, they're doing it, so why do we have to remain committed to this agreement? How do you do that?
Well, I think the reality is that for the most part, the world is absolutely committed to continuing to move forward. We were disappointed that the U.S. federal government has made the decision to pull out of the Paris Agreement, but Canada is moving forward and we've got lots and lots of company. If you look at the United States, for example, there are countless U.S. states, U.S. cities, U.S. business that have come forward to say, hey, we're committed to the Paris Agreement, we're moving forward.
But if there is no federal leadership, does that change things? Because that's how Canada is pushing this forward across the country. If there's no federal leadership on the American front, who do you talk to? How do you push it forward? How do you engage with them?
Working with U.S. states and cities on international priorities is something that we've been doing for decades. In fact, it was my job when I was in Washington, and climate change is no different. We're just going to keep working with those who want to take concrete steps to go forward. It's an amazing opportunity.
The Prime Minister is at the G20 today, as you know, and he has said that he wants climate change to be in the final communique. Unclear whether that's actually going to happen. Is it important that the G20 make a commitment to fighting climate change? Does it matter if it's only 19 of the countries that sign on to that kind of language?
I think what we're seeing at the G20 is what I expect we're going to see, at every major international meeting going forward. Climate change is a priority, and it's essential that global leaders stay very engaged on taking concrete steps to move forward with action on climate change and helping their countries and their citizens take advantage of the economic opportunities.
Sure, but can you do that and leave countries out?
The reality is no one is left out. If we look at the United States, for example, we have partners at every level of subnational government, so states, cities, like I mentioned, and business who want to move forward.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If they don't sign on to a final communique, they're sending a message to the world, obviously. Regardless of what's happening on the state level, the president is sending a message to the world about what he thinks about it.
We heard a message from the United States federal government when they made the decision to pull out of the Paris Agreement, but the message that we're hearing loud and clear from all of our international partners is clean growth is happening, clean growth is the future. And so I think that the momentum is unstoppable. I was on the ground in Switzerland talking to global investors, for example, and global investors are really interested in Canada's climate policy and Canada's commitment to climate action because they're planning for the future, and the future is clean growth.
What's the one thing that you want to do with this job? Because it has existed before. People think that it's some sort of liberal government creation. It's not. What's the one thing you want to do with this job?
I'm the first ambassador for climate change since the Paris Agreement. So since 195 countries came together and said, we're going to act on climate change, we're going to move forward. So it's really a new mandate for a new era. And the thing I want most to do is I want to get out there and find concrete ways of really working with our international partners to make incremental progress on climate change. Our international partners, they really want Canada at the table, and they're really excited about Canada's new leadership. So the number of people who want to work with, the number of countries and partners that want to work with Canada is just incredible, and I'm so excited about figuring out where we can make the most progress.
Okay, we'll talk again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rosemary. Great to be here.